Hi, hybrid students. If you're getting this video, it is because you missed class today on March 1st. I know a lot of you are sick. You can hear I'm sick as well. Um, so, since you weren't in class, you're going to answer the questions that I give you in this video, and you'll send me the answers in an email. So, different than Edpuzzle, in an email by this Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. And if you do so and the quality is good, you'll get your 4 points for participation and 4 points for on time. All right. So best of luck, everyone. We had a fun class today. We really missed you guys. Okay, so first of all, there is no Edpuzzle next week. However, on Tuesday, meaning on Tuesday, I need to get from you your video for a new name for Purim video contest. That's right, the new name for Purim video contest, because we are going to, on Wednesday, Shushan Purim, we are going to be showing our videos, and the prizes will go, and like good prizes will go to our winners of that contest, a first place and second place. All right, so here we go. And by the way, just so you remember, what is it called? This is called, like, why is Purim called Purim? Because of the raffle that took place, and a raffle in Persian was Pur, so the Pur, and that's where Haman picked out the 13th of Adar. So Pur plus is Purim. But what if Haman used something else, like tennis balls that he numbered with all these different numbers, and threw them up in the air, and what came down was the 13? So instead of being Purim, it's called ping pong ball. Okay, and that's it. And for some inspiration, check this out from a third grader. Is that amazing? Oh my goodness. All right. So in class today, we so good luck getting those videos in. So again, no Edpuzzle next week, but that is your homework. So we looked at these two cases last week, and what I'd like to know for question number 1 is, what is the big difference between case number 1 and case number 2? That's question number 1. And there is the difference right there between case number 1 and case number 2. And how does this difference, and this is question number 2, how does this difference change your idea of whether someone should be chayav or patur? Should they both be chayav? Should they both be patur? Or it does this difference? How significant is the difference in changing your guiltiness or innocence? That's question number 2. Okay. We looked in class at these two ideas from the Rambam. Who is the Rambam? The Rambam basically took all the laws of the Torah, all the laws of the Talmud, and basically said, it's too hard to find all those laws. I'm going to write them down in specific ways. And we learned something amazing from the Rambam. So just read over these two pieces and tell me, first of all, what's the amazing thing that we're learning about the idea of change of status? Whose status changes? That's question number 3. And why does it change? That's question number 4. And what does that mean to change a status? What does it change about you as a person? That's question number 5. And what we talked about in class was, and there was actually some agreement and disagreement, but Hunter said, wait a second, this is really weird. I would have thought that if someone converts from Christianity to Judaism, or someone becomes Jewish, that changes their soul. That changes themselves spiritually. But actually, and maybe it's even powerful enough to say that it changes your spiritual past. But actually, these laws are saying something more, that it's changing something more than spiritual. And question number 6 is, what is it changing as well? And question number 7 is and I guess what we talked about in class was that this is changing something not just spiritual. It's actually, the rabbis are almost saying, it changes your DNA. It changes your actual very blood. Right? We know scientifically that children shouldn't marry each other because of genetic inbreeding is not a good thing. Right? It highlights the negatives of our own genetics and causes sometimes birth defects and genetic problems and stuff like that. So we try to say, stay away from someone who's too closely related. But this is saying, actually, when you do something like convert, or when a slave becomes free, it is as if they are what? And that's question number 8. And let's look at the second one. According to the Torah, a convert may marry his mother or his maternal sister after they convert, and you've converted, right? So two people converts, they're as if they are not even related anymore. But our sages forbid it. There are rabbis forbid it. Why is it that they forbid it? So what's the kind of understanding of why they forbid it? And that's question number 9. Why is it that they forbid it? And what's the general kind of idea behind that? Yeah, why are they forbidding it? They're forbidding it because actually they're saying, well, the reason we forbid it is because we think that people looking at us are going to say something weird about us. Like, why are we like before they were in a religion that was more strict about sexual ethics, and now we're less strict. So we're not going to do it because of what kind of onlookers will say. But what is that actually? It proves our point. It's the exception to prove the point. It's saying basically, because that's the one reason why we do it. If that didn't exist, we would actually say it's okay that actually two converts who were brothers and sisters could actually marry themselves. So, how might these two laws help us in understanding the question to the answer of these two cases? That's question number 10. And I just want you to imagine for a second. Just imagine for a second. I mean, what are we saying happens when someone escapes? They escape and they reach puberty. So the question is let's imagine that puberty is like a case of converting, or is like a case of a slave becoming free. What might that tell us about case number 2, which is this case right here? What would you then rule, chayav or patur, for this case right here, if the life cycle event of reaching and finishing puberty is as powerful as an event like someone converting or a slave becoming free? What would you call this then? Is someone chayav or patur? That's question number 12. And question number 13 is, please explain why. Right? And what we talked about in class was that actually, if we were to say that puberty, and we haven't decided if it is a case like that, but if we were to say that puberty is a case that it changes everything about you and changes your past, then actually in the second case right here, even though they made a judgment that it should be powerful enough to change that past, to change that judgment, and you are actually innocent. If it's not, if puberty is not a case like that, then we're going to have to call this person chayav and not patur. Okay, let's move on. So, and we asked this question in class. Are there some situations or status changes that we can go through in our lives that are so powerful that they not only change the present and future, but also erase our past so that we can never truly escape or erase it? So I'll tell you 2 ideas that someone said in class, and I want you to respond to them. One is that Aaron Zu said, actually, maybe the bar bat mitzvah is an event like this, that it's so powerful that the change of responsibility from parent to child and child to parent is so powerful that it erases the past. What do you think? Yes or no? And then question number, I think this is 15. Let's just call it 16, even if we skip. Question number 16 is, David Gilman said, actually, going to college is something, if you went to a college where none of your classmates or no one who knew you were part of that, in that college, that is an event that changes, that allows you to kind of completely change your past. Yes or no? Is that kind of a status change event? All right. So respond to that for question 16. And then question number 17. Is reaching puberty one of these moments? Is it a moment that is powerful enough that it changes not reaching, but reaching and finishing puberty, is that powerful enough to change your past? Yes or no? Give me a reason why. So I will tell you that most people in class said, no, actually it's not, because it's not like a one-time event that is today and not tomorrow. It's like a kind of a longer ongoing event. Then we talked about something called statute of limitations. What is a statute of limitations? For question number 18, please look up statute of limitations and define that for me. And then let's ask. We want to ask the question as: is there a statute of limitations for murder? Is there amount of time after I murder someone, if I murdered someone, that just the amount of time going by itself would make me no longer guilty? Yes or no? What do you think from the gut? Question number 19. And then question number 20 is, please look that up. And when I looked up that answer, I found the following: that actually for murder, there is no statute of limitations, meaning no matter how long a murder has passed that has been committed, if that was me who murdered, I am always, always, always considered guilty and being able to be brought to trial. But what have been the crimes that have been committed by a Ben Surrer Moreh? That's question number 21. Has it been murder? No. Well, what have they done? That's question number 21. And now let's look at, are there statute of limitations for things that a Ben Surrer Moreh have done? Well, look at this, everyone. Oh, crimes including, but not limited to, theft from an elder, fraud, breach of fiduciary obligations, public office misconduct come with 4-year statute of limitations. 3-year crimes like theft or burglary, robbery, assault come with 3-year statute of limitations, meaning that if those crimes happen and 3 years have passed and you have not been said you're guilty of that, it's as if that crime has never actually existed. That's what the statute of limitations is all about. And so the question is, what does this mean for our case of a Ben Surrer Moreh? And that's question number 22. So let's finally look at our question between the two of these, and now we will read actually the Mishnah itself. The Mishnah itself, and let's look at the answers. And so after reading the Mishnah in 23, question number summarize the Mishnah and tell us what the answers are for case number 1 and case number 2 according to the Mishnah. And here's the Mishnah right here. And for question number 24 is, if you had to put the puberty on a hierarchy of status changing events, would it go? Is it more powerful than something like conversion or becoming free from being a slave, or is it much less powerful? And if so, why? And explain why you place it where you place it, under more powerful or less powerful. Question number 24 is more powerful, less powerful. 25 is why. And your final question of the day is so we're up to our final Mishnah of this entire unit. And before we do that, I want to kind of ask the following questions. One, and this is question number 26. The Mishnahs that we have studied have taught us what concerning the Ben Surrer Moreh? Give me 3 ideas. But now I want you to think about, for number 27, I want you to think of 3 things that we would have liked to learn in our Mishnahs about the Ben Surrer Moreh that we really haven't learned. And really, to answer this correctly, I think it's really helpful to go back to at least what the Torah says about a Ben Surrer Moreh. So we can kind of look on this page right here. In the gray is what the Torah says about being a Ben Surrer Moreh. And we've learned a couple things. But there's also things we haven't learned. List 3 things that we haven't learned that you wish you might have learned from our Mishnahs about a Ben Surrer Moreh. And that's question number 27. Please send me your answers via email by this Friday at 5 o'clock, and you'll get your full 8 points, 8 points for the week. Awesome. Feel better.